نحمد المولى على نعمه العديدة علينا، نسأله يبارك فينا طول حياتنا ويبلغنا شهر رمضان سالمين، ونسأل تعالى أن يكون معنا دائما. We at this time start our Halqah, Fortnite Halqah again, and this time around the title we are dissecting is Ramadan is coming. Probably it may be the first talk you may be having for the forthcoming Ramadan. It may be the second, maybe or not. You may want to wonder, why is the topic coming up this so early like this, since Ramadan is still about 80 days or 79 days away. The essence is from what we heard about the Salaf, who prepare for Ramadan 6 months ahead. So with that very one, 80 days is not too far for us to prepare for the month of Ramadan. That's number one. By this, we implore that we should start to talk about it beyond just talking of Ramadan is coming. We're talking about something that must happen. So we are going to look at matters arising and things we need to look at in the forthcoming Ramadan. We ask Allah to make us witness it and more of it on earth, inshallah. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. يا أيها الذين آمنوا كتب عليكم الصيام كما كتب على الذين من قبلكم لعلكم تتقون. Allah in this verse that is very common, we recite it almost every Ramadan. Allah says that, O you who believe, fasting is made obligatory on you as it was for those who were before you. So the psychology of fasting is not something peculiar to Muslims alone. It has always been before the Muslims and like other nations who fasted. So in that very verse, Allah tells us that it's compulsory on us. And when we fast it, we are going to gain something very great. That's tatakun. We are going to become God conscious. And we are told again that in verse 185, Allah further says that شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس وبينات من الهدى والفرقان. Allah says that this month of Ramadan is the one in which the Quran was revealed and as a guidance for mankind. And of course, a clarity, clarifications, explanations in the realm of guidance and criterion. Whoever فمن شهد منكم شهر فليصومه. Whoever is alive at that time, let him fast the month of Ramadan. Now, what we are looking at about this Ramadan tonight is just some things that have to do with reflections, repentance, rethinking, repayment, the planning, repackaging, refocusing, re-engineering, recalibrating. These are the issues we are looking at with respect to Ramadan 1447. The first thing is that, when is it coming? When is it starting exactly? Ramadan starts from counting Islamic month in the next 80 or 79 days. So meaning that if today is the end of November, the Gregorian calendar, as Muslims, we're already entering the Jumadal Thani of Islam. So then we have Rajab, Shaban. We have 2 full months. Then plus the remaining part of the Jumadal Thani. So, with that one said, the first thing we're going to look at is what? Now, if Ramadan is about 80 days time, it means 9 months have gone. Last Ramadan, we fasted it, we ended it. So Shawwal followed, Zulqa'dah, Zulhijjah, then we have Muharram, Safar, Rabiul Awal, till now, and Jumad al-Thani. Now, that means we have effectively spent 9 months, in the course of which we observed Eid al-Fitr, we fasted, that was in Shawwal, we fasted 6 days of Shawwal also. We equally, in the month of Zulhijjah also, we fasted some days, Ayam Zulhijjah. Some were opportunity to go on, to be at Hajj. We fasted Arafah day too. Some did Hajj. Ramadan 1447 came. We observed the fast of Ashura, 9, 10, 11, 12, like that. Then our life activities, a lot of things we have been doing for the past 9 months. We traveled, we did businesses, ups and downs, a lot of things happened. Then human relations, people we've interacted with, and how it has been going. Then, of course, too, probably some things we committed in the course of the months. Beside that, again, many deaths, a lot of deaths have come. We are witnessing, we are hearing, like that. Then, death of those who are near and those who are far. And of course, now, the point we have to now ask, there is that the 9 months we have spent, are we comfortable that we should not witness the next Ramadan that, okay, we have spent the 9 months, I'm ready to face my Lord. What I've done so far, I think can you say you have done the best? You retain yourself in spiritual realm. So if you now goes to die and go to Allah, you're happy that it's everything will be okay. That's the first thing. You have to reflect over. 9 months gone. What are your takeaway? What are your achievements that you can say, okay, this 9 months is what I've achieved? Are you sure you have remained Rabbaniyun, the people of Allah who believe and fear Him? That's the first thing you should start to think about as you expect the coming Ramadan. All the things you have done, one way or the other, your ibadah, your material life, your academics, your business life, your human relation with your parents, with your family, with your wife, with your children, with your co-workers, with neighbors, you travel abroad, everything that you have been doing for the past 9 months, take a stock and see if they can fly, and whether those things, in the event that you're not opportune to witness the coming Ramadan, then what exactly what can you do? That's the first thing there. The second one is, you now need to compare notes. Ramadan has come and gone. That was Ramadan 1446. Came and it has gone. Then you now need to know what has changed in your life. When that fast came, of course, you were involved in several activities. Some of them border on humanitarianism, some border on welfare, border on many things you have did in Ramadan, activities, sponsorships, and the like. So those things you did, and compared to your state now, how do you rate yourself? If Ramadan, you will be able to finish at least one Quran. Since Ramadan ended now, how many of such Quran have you completed in Islamic lunar months? It means if 9 months have gone, you should have read 9 Quran on a minimum. If there already 1 Quran per month. So it's a thing you have to actually look at. You need to create the time, 30 minutes or 1 hour. You need to know if you have a diary for last Ramadan, fine. Or a note you have created. That's one of the things we always suggest, that you must have a diary for Ramadan. Every Ramadan have a diary where you will enter everything you were able to do. The lectures you attended, lectures you listened to, lectures you gave, good things you did, just note them down for comparison. At this Ramadan is coming now. You're going to bring it out. When I bring it out, when I look, okay, that's Ramadan. I read 2 Quran. I could not complete the third one. I did Sadaqah. I did this. So when I do a comparison of last Ramadan, you now want to see this coming one. Are you retaining the same activities? or you want to change some, you want to improve on them. But now if you don't have any comparative basis, how do you go about that? So what you can still do is you get your pen or biro, you still trying to recall things you were able to do last Ramadan. You look at it, maybe inside the mosque, some things you were able to do in your neighborhood, in your street, what you were able to do towards your family, what you were able to do, your siblings, your parents, your co-workers, all these things. You look at them and see how they have actually, when they are still there or they have changed. So if you realize that most of them have stopped, because from Ramadan you are giving charity. To after Ramadan, how were you able to continue that kind of activity? That's number two. Comparing notes. Last Ramadan, what did you achieve? Coming Ramadan, what are you achieving new, or what are you going to achieve more? Three is you now look at Ramadan, the past and the future, or the past and the present. What do you mean here? The question, probably you have asked the question before, I wouldn't know. You ask yourself, how many Ramadan fasts have I observed in my life? Now, maybe you have 40 years or 50 years. At what point did you begin to fast, correct, complete Ramadan? Maybe age 20, maybe age 15, age 13, fine. Age 13, definitely. It's just a matter of saying, okay, you have fasted for almost about how many years? For 3 or so years. You get the point now. So that's to say that, okay, you have fasted Ramadan for 47 years, 50 years, 60 years. Good. Now, this number of fasts you have observed, there's one aspect. Can you say that Allah has accepted all? If not all, how many did He accept from you as qurba, as ibadah? Then also, you ask yourself again, the coming 79 or 80 days before Ramadan 1447, are you sure you'll be able to equally fast it so as to make it to become additional number the ones you have fasted before now? Now, can you tell us how many Ramadan fasts will you see fast in your life before you leave this very world? You realize that this is a call for reflection. These are things that we have to just look at. You can't tell us, okay, this coming Ramadan, you're not so sure you're going to be there. Then, if you're even in this very one, how many of such will you fast? So it's a reflection as you are waiting, expecting Ramadan. You have to have a kind of that mind of khawf or raja, fear and hope. This coming Ramadan, will I be there? I want to be there. Allah assist me. I have this to do. Oh, I may not be there. I may be there. You know, the mood of Ramadan should be with you as you're walking around the streets, going to work. You know, every day you must have something you think about Ramadan. I think you can just sigh and say, Ramadan. You can just sigh. Let the spirit start to, penetrate you in everything you do. That's the third thing we want us to note. That's to say that past and future. You have fasted Ramadan. How many have you fasted? How many are left to fast in your life? Then, if Ramadan even comes, how will you go about it? Then the fourth point is mental plan. Mental plan. As Ramadan is coming, what are your mental plan? Things, of course, you plan to do to achieve. So you mentally, you must start thinking of, okay, this coming Ramadan, what are things that I must do, I should do, I can do. Start to think of, okay, how it's going to be like. Where will you observe the fast? Where will you be? What will be your state? What are the things you want to introduce? What are the things you want to do? What are the things you will stop? Which areas will you fast it? What are the likely obstructions? What are the likely challenges? What are likely sinful environment that may affect your fast? What are the ways and manners you are going to prevent yourself from fasting and destroying your rewards? So that's the mental plan, mental picture of how Ramadan to be like. You start to imagine how you're observing, how you are in breaking your fast, breaking your sahur with your family, with your siblings, that's how to have that sense of Ramadan spirit, and you start reflecting about it. Then also, during Ramadan, you need to think about the state of the Ummah. The state of the Ummah becomes necessary. You realize that All of us fast. That's unity of Ibadah. Every Muslim, no matter where, unless it's whether it is indisposed or a minor. Even the minor these days, they fast a lot. So all of us fast Ramadan. This graduated by the sect or no sect, everybody fasts Ramadan. That's number one. So if the Muslim world is about 2 point something billion, means virtually almost all of them, except for few, and are the one that are not, they are all fasting, but for few. Now, that is number one. So if in Ibadah we are united, we all fast the same way, the Sahur, the same way, the Iftar, the things we do there, then that's number one. Why then do you have, that's a kind of a convergence of Ibadah. They come together like kind of confluence at one point. But now, why do you now have divergence in action? If you have convergence in fasting, in Ibadah, which is meant to be the launch part, why do you now have divergence of action? There are so many that we see claiming all of us are Muslims, and some people just decide that we are going to do what we like. For example, you realize that in Ramadan, is almost in that time we are preaching and counter preaching. You see, Ramadan that is meant to be a period of sanity, a period of modesty, a period of purity of the mind, of actions. But now we have some preaching, some admonition that will rend the air, that will be creating controversy. Should that be part of the Ramadan spirit? No. And when that period is in period, we appeal to ourselves, to our soul, to our heart, that everybody wants to go to his Lord. You want to make your brother happy. You don't want to have a dissension with your brothers. So that one is an angle there. One of the divergence we suffer in Ramadan. So what can you do to prevent it? What at least the best you can do is you as a person, how can you deceive, refrain from being a part of those who will, cause dissension or divergence in modern preaching? Number two, there is that some use the modern time as a missile. I use the word missile. That's the period they feel because access these days, a lot of accessibility, accesses you have, so to say, on the social media, on Facebook, on Instagram, different model, handles, WhatsApp and everything. People, those days you have to go to TV station to go and pay money, a huge amount, 500,000, 1 million, like that. But these people just load, they just have their data. What you want to go and they can just take their data of those maybe 5 or 4,000. They can do a lot of things. They can send messages, they can do lectures on Facebook, on Instagram, and everything like that. And they can reach out to more people in the world. So with that very one, you realize that sometimes that very opportunity as a missile to send, maybe a kind of a scholar, a kind of organization they have issues with, that's the period you now start to be sending those innuendos to people. No, the month is not meant for such. It's a month of purity, of intention, purity of action, purity of everything of mind. Then also it is a month that we have more people on social media. That's another thing there. We are meant to be lesser in presence on social media, but we are more on those social media. We are more there than in the mosque. Yes. Somebody can argue that, yes, most of the lectures, some of the sermons, they are there, fine. I don't have a problem with that. But the point is, social media cannot replace masjid. So we need to be more present in the masjid than on that of the social media. But most people are more on social media than staying longer in the mosque. Then it's a period that we suffer a kind of food syndrome preparation. It's a period that we invest more time in preparing food that we want to eat for iftar or sahur. The irony is the fast is meant to reduce your consumption level, but it happens that is then people will spend more on eating. With that one said, you now want to ask, where is the spirit of you know, they just fast and they spend more time. Not have not not devoting it for their creator. So that is an aspect that we have to consciously look at, because the month is not meant for investment in food, but we end up spending more time. When our wives are women, there seems to have a proper plan on how to spend the time. There's some food you can prepare that will take care of 2 3 days. There's a way you can preserve them, refrigerate them, so that you have enough time. That just not because they're not they feel yes, you get reward for cooking the food. It's agreed, but you can manage the time. What you feel you can prepare in a day for 3 days, that's better. So that you spend more time for other things too. That's one challenge of divergence there too. Then the period is when there's mosque masajid activism, cleaning of the mosque, painting of the mosque, itikaf in the mosque, in Jama, and so on and so forth. Yes, there are so many things we do in Ramadan like that. But this thing we do we sustain after Ramadan? These are the issues. Because the spirit of the mosque, the lesson of the mosque activism, it's not just Ramadan only comes to revive it. And that revival we have to uphold. So we realize that in Ramadan, our mosques are very active, but outside Ramadan, something else is what we see. Now in Ramadan, also, we relate with the Quran more than any other time, accepted that it's Sharul Quran. Fine. Tilawa is on the increase, tafsir is on the increase, tadabur on the increase, musabaqah, a lot of musabaqah is on the increase, purchasing the Quran is on the increase. But these things are not job of Ramadan alone. So what we are doing here is that we should start telling our minds now that the coming Ramadan, we are going to live a life that will not end in Ramadan. That's one. Two is that you start now to live in Ramadan before Ramadan. So you say, be in Ramadan before Ramadan and be with Ramadan after Ramadan. That's when you can enjoy a peaceful life. So you start now with your tilawa, with your tadabbur, with your reflections, with whatever you feel to do with the Quran. Let that spirit start to live with you now. As you go out to work, as you go to school, as you go to class, the same way you behave in Ramadan, start to revive that kind of behavior. The last but one point or so is our media presence. Of course, Muslims are most present in Ramadan. The Ummah, the irony is that we spend millions to go on air in Ramadan. Millions, 5 million, 10 million, some individuals. So we spend these amounts to go on media. Unfortunately, the Muslim Ummah has lesser media outlets. So we take our money to those who are not Muslims to help us air Ramadan program. So we cannot calculate the volume of money we dish out, so to say, for people because we want to promote the work of Allah. Does it mean that there are no Muslim people who are rich enough to have it as a project? If it will take you 5 years, 10 years, you can do it. And should our money, ideologically, we go to those who believe in the spirit of Ramadan. But what do? We are using borrowed soldiers. By so doing, we go to stations that are not Muslim stations, we pay the money. And most of those stations, they make most of their money during Ramadan. Because Muslims, we have different programs coming up in the morning, night, in the evening, early morning, after every time there's a program coming up by the Muslims. But look at the issue. I don't know whether we can help ourselves. This talk is meant to ginger also start a kind of thinking collaboration. Look at it, for example. Someone will sponsor Azan on NTA, sponsor Azan on AirTV, one Azan on this, on that. Now, The azan you are sponsoring is not free of charge. Some they will sponsor it throughout the Ramadan. The same azan, same station. Now you sponsor another azan again for his late father, his late mother. In a station, you can have close to 3 azan programs. Is that not a kind of resource not properly being channeled? If Muslim Ummah or area with you can collaborate, okay, it's azan that I want to sponsor. Let the azan people, let them contribute the money together. One azan is okay for everybody. If you, for example, now, one azan will cost you 5,000 per airing, then maybe or more than that. If you are maybe about 200 now, we bring the money together. We remove the one that was for the whole month for everybody. The remaining one can be channeled towards something better for the ummah. That's a concept that I think we can look at as Muslims. Then some again is dua. They don't do dua for some minutes. They will pay for it. Some again is they just want to do one thing or the other that we equally existing. Prayer for their late father, their late mother, and so on and so forth. So we just need to look at that angle and see how we can collaborate, because the resources we invest in Ramadan, they are so huge and big that if you are able to get some people who can mobilize the Ummah, these resources, number one, can make us have radio or TV presence throughout the whole year, because now some will do their own program on radio, be on air on radio, be on air in TV and the likes. So when we have a kind of organized setting, we are not being the month of spiritual development, fine, but we can as well as individuals bring our resources together with clear rules. And if from that, for example, now I want to sponsor a program, my own is maybe 1.5 or 2 million, other person 35 million. So all these programs we want to do, we can get the prime time and sponsor the same program. Our names could be there if you want your names to be there. The remaining money can rescue the Ummah, can solve the poverty in the Ummah if we think that very way. Instead of just because my name was equally appear. No, we are doing it for Allah. It's a month that your spiritual level should be high. That even the same way you are fast, nobody can say you are broken your fast. When in a case whereby we just feel that yes, I sponsor the program in Ramadan. So I think that area we need to look at it and see how we can get those resources, channel, and use them for the deen, inshallah. And the last point is that you realize that in Ramadan, everybody is curtailed and cautioned and conscious because of that spiritual essence in the month of Ramadan. Therefore, as we all expect Ramadan, let's start to lead that very Ramadan essence. So when it starts, we need to do lots of prayers, lots of du'as for the Ummah, because the Ummah today has become a caricature of itself, a shadow of itself that is on siege economically, politically, socially, culturally, spiritually, aesthetically. Everything about the Ummah is about just the name. People just submit to whatever comes their way. The Muslim world is in real disarray, where the leaders have become stooges in the hands of as puppets in the hands of their masters. And this is affecting the Ummah in a way or the other. We need to look at that and see how we can help ourselves to move stand forward. I pray to Allah in His infinite mercy, who alone is ever living, that Allah should preserve our lives to witness the coming Ramadan, not just witnessing it, but for us to be able to achieve spiritually, to be able to achieve socially, to achieve in all best ways, so that when we return to Allah, when we see the word of our fasting, we will say, Alhamdulillah, for the means we have enjoyed. I pray to Allah to inshallah. Now, probably you have comments, questions. The floor is open now, inshallah. You can raise your hands to make your comments, ask your questions. We want to thank those of us who are here tonight. So you have questions, this is time for questions and comments, inshallah. We have comments or questions? Can raise your hands. So, comment, questions on the subject matter, Ramadan is coming, or you have other perspectives you feel we should probably look at. You can ask, you can check now. Okay, if there's no question, I think if there's no comment or question, it's a convenient time for us tonight, inshallah, to call it a day. And I pray, inshallah, what your hands we try to disseminate, let others equally have that spirit of Ramadan preparations very, very early. They're just starting a month or so. Having had this, it's to trigger us to start mentally preparing for Ramadan and involving ourselves in things that will make us enjoy the month. I pray to Allah to forgive our comments and assist us all. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.